Hello, hi, this is GG Your Face, and now I'll be talking about game number 3 between Socke and Sarens. Sarens is playing as the light green Terran player at the upper right hand corner, and Socke is playing as the light blue Protoss player at the upper left hand corner. This is game number 3 in the Go4SC2Cup number 41. Game number 1 and 2, Socke have taken them both, and it was a very creative play both times, not the same one over and over again. So if you haven't seen it, you should definitely see it, because it is how Starcraft 2 is evolving. It's evolving a little bit away from Zealots, as Zealots have gotten their little nerf. It's not a little nerf, I think it's a tremendous nerf, but there can be a lot of disagreements on that. But Terran also have taken a huge nerf, I think, in terms of their tanks, because their tanks do significantly less damage to light units. Ooh, and I tend to do a lot of tournament replays. I think that's because that's what I'm interested in. If you guys have certain replays you want me to talk about or look at, have no fear, send them my way. I will always take a look at what you guys are saying, and I will always accept your suggestions, unless they are jump off a cliff with a dynamite. That is not a very pleasant picture. In any event, Socke is inside the base harassing the ATV. I was about to call this ATV for some reason. The SCV for Sarens, and forcing Sarens to pull off another SCV, and Sarens is actually scouting the wrong direction. The map is Delta Quadrant. It's a relatively large map, as there are 16 bases with 4 gold expansions. A very nice map for any sort of player, because there are so many choices, so many places to expand. We do see Cybercore going down for the Protoss player, Socke, and Socke is not giving up on this probe. He's waiting for his shield to recharge, but it will not recharge in time, as that Marine did spawn. Sarens is once again still scouting the wrong direction, will not be able to see Socke at that location that he's scouting. That may prove pivotal, and we do see a second assimilator going up a little bit early for Socke at 21 food or supply. I think some people refer to it as food, some people refer to it as supply, because I was talking to some guy about Starcraft 2 and I said food, and he's like, huh, what do you mean food? In any event, I think that is a Warcraft terminology. In any event, we do see the Stalker coming out, and we do see that he's going to saturate the gas line. No, yes, it is saturated. And he's going to put down a pylon in the back. There's one SCV inside. That Stalker should make short work of him. At the same time, Zealot is going to run inside, but the 2 Marines should be able to take down that one Stalker, no problem, with a little micro. And AT and Socke is actually going to run inside the base, take a couple of shots at those Marines. The Marines are actually waiting for the Marauder to spawn at the moment. And this one Stalker might be able to take down both Marines, but the Marines desperately trying to buy time for the Marauder to spawn. The Marauder did spawn, but the Zealot did manage to kill off one SCV there. It does actually help him quite a bit, and he's actually able to damage these units quite significantly. Very well worth the 100 mineral that it costs to spend, and he's actually going to move the Stalker back, because one Marauder does beat one Stalker, and even though the Marauder is slightly damaged, he does have a Marine buddy with him, and he's pulling off a couple of SCV along with a Hellion, and a Marauder is going to come in here, and there's a Stargate and a Gateway going up at the moment, but he doesn't have any Zealots. He might be in a little bit of trouble. He might have to pull out some probes if he sees this coming, and he does move his Stalkers in position. We'll be able to take a couple shots at those SCVs as they're entering. This Hellion is probably going to want to get into the supply line, but he does pull out, wow, he's pulling out about 8 probes to come in here, and we do see a firefight being exchanged. SCVs fighting the probes nullifying the SCVs a little bit, but these Hellions are actually taking some damage from the probes, but the Hellions were able to also get some kills on those probes. Unit lost slightly in favor of the Protoss player at the moment. Very slightly, as this Stalker is almost dead, but he's not actually able to take it down with that Hellion. One Hellion, one Marauder coming out in the back, and we do see one Warrior is being corner boosted by Socke at the moment. One probe sitting in the back, not doing too much. A bad force field. They're actually force fielding himself away from the Hellion. These Hellion will be able to take down these 3 probes if the Stalkers don't show up in time. Does manage to take one probe. This Stalker is very close to death, but that Hellion was not able to get off that last couple of shots, as the shield has regenerated a little bit. Very intense couple of minutes. I think this patch has changed the game significantly, in that a lot of the games are a little bit shorter, because a lot of players like to get that early aggression going, especially against Protoss, because Protoss does have a little problem reinforcing with Zealots, as we do see not that many Zealots in this army. We see a lot of Stalkers, because the Zealot build time is a little bit slower. And he's going to go inside the base while this Warrior is going to try to take down this one Hellion. The Hellion with no kills at the moment. He might be able to get a couple of SCV kills if he tries. I think he's actually going down, and he's not actually going to get any kills when he goes down, the Void Ray is going to run over. This is a very good map for Void Rays, as you can charge up on this side of Destructive Rocks before you enter. It's very, very close to the ramp opening. And he actually finally moved the probe in the back. We take a look at the income tab. Right now, the Protoss player is slightly behind in mineral count, but he is very, very much ahead in gas count, and that does help him a little bit because he's actually able to pay for these Stalkers quite well. And this is a very, very tough situation for the Protoss player. Even though he has a Void Rage charge up, there are, I think, Vikings coming out for the Terran player, and that might make it very difficult for him to come in. But these Void Rays are actually working on these Marauders very, very nicely. And we do see that one Viking is coming out, but this Phoenix will be able to help the Void Ray against the Viking, but you never really want to fight the Viking with just one Phoenix alone. And he might be actually be able to snipe this Void Ray, and he does snipe the Void Ray, and now he's actually forced to retreat because he can't really break this bunker with those units. We do see Stem Pack being researched as well as additional units being pumped up by both players. Both players, I think, wanting to end this game early. We do see 2 additional gateways, 4 gateways going up right now, and we see this Phoenix maybe going back. Ooh, and we see a pylon at the edge of this pylon, just enough to warp in some units into the background. This may prove pivotal for his success or demise. Socke is flying around with his Phoenix trying to distract Sarens. It's always a good idea, if you don't get your unit killed, it's always a good idea to make your opponent waste some micro on places he might not want to do. Like, for instance, microing these 2 Vikings will maybe make him not check the side, even though this is very, very sneaky of ATN Socke, moving those units over so he can warp in additional units. And we do see 2 Stalkers engaging a Hellion in the middle, not too important. We do see a Phoenix coming in once again, and we see this Zealot and Stalker army, 2 wave of them coming out in the back, and he's actually going to take down a couple of SCVs. He actually took down only 1 SCV that time, but he does not want to engage inside of the bunkers. He needs to stay in the back, and we see these 2 Vikings actually landing to fight at the same time, but I don't think this is a good idea, even though he's actually out of the bunker to fight. Ooh, he's actually a little bit out of position. Additional reinforcements in the back coming in, actually not warping inside the base, warping outside of the base, a little bit strange. And then he's going to go for the mineral lines, and he's not going for the minerals. He's going to try to take down some of these Marauders. And one medevac does come out, but this is a poor choice, I think, and Sarens does GG. Very, very creative play by Socke, and I believe he does take the series. Hope you guys enjoy the series. Please click like and subscribe if you're not subscribed. And remember, always GG your games. If you don't want to say GG your games, at least say GG your face. See you guys in the next game. I'm going to do another set relatively soon. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.